Hi, I'm Minnie, and let me make this simple. Cats didn't take over the world. We just quietly showed up everywhere and let humans think it was their idea. In Scotland and Ireland, they said we could predict the weather, which is true. But then they added soul stealing, which feels like a branding issue. Honestly, we just walk across things. Living, not living, we're thorough. In Norway, the goddess Freya had giant cats pulling her chariot. Finally, accurate representation, strong, majestic, slightly judgmental. Over in Japan, they made the Maneki Neko, a waving cat bringing good luck, which is correct. We do bring fortune, mostly to ourselves. In Egypt, they worshipped us as gods. No notes. They understood the assignment. In United States, we're pets, which is adorable. You feed us, house us, and work all day, while we nap and knock things off tables. But yes, we're the pets. Across China, Italy, Brazil, and basically everywhere else, the story is the same. Different myths, same conclusion.
Just Minnie and me and a pirate ship named Whisker. On a vast, shimmering sea sailed a ship whispered about in every harbor. The Whisker, a pirate vessel crewed not by men, but by cats bound by loyalty and instinct. At its helm stood Captain Paws, a calico with eyes steady as the horizon, leading with equal parts courage and heart. At his side was the elegant and razor-sharp first mate Bun Bun, and the powerful, resourceful Pippin, whose strength could hold the ship together when storms tried to tear it apart. Every paw on deck moved with purpose, as if the sea itself had chosen them. One wind-cut morning, Captain Paws revealed an ancient, weathered map. Its marking spoke of Catnip Cove, a hidden paradise filled with unimaginable treasure. The crew needed no convincing. Adventure was their calling. Sails snapped to life and the Whisker surged forward into legend. Days passed, tightening their bond, until the calm was shattered by a warning cry from the crow's nest. On the horizon loomed the Black Whiskers, a ruthless rival crew led by the feared Captain Claw. The air grew tense. With a single command from Captain Paws, the Whisker transformed into a warship. The clash was swift and ferocious. Cannons thundered, smoke filled the air, and Captain Claw boarded with a snarl, demanding surrender. Captain Paws met him without hesitation. Steel struck steel as sparks flew. Then, through the chaos, Bun Bun signaled a daring move. Fish-scented smoke bombs engulfed both ships. Hidden in the swirling haze, the Whiskers struck with precision, outmaneuvering their enemies. When the smoke cleared, the Black Whiskers were gone, swallowed by defeat. Battered but unbroken, the crew sailed on. Storms battered them, waves tested their will, but their unity never faltered. At last, beneath a burning crimson sky, Catnip Cove emerged, a secret world of towering cliffs and lush green jungle, its air rich with a scent that stirred every instinct. They pressed inland, overcoming each obstacle with grit and trust, until they reached an ancient stone marker. Beneath it, they dug, claws striking earth until they uncovered a chest heavy with gold, jewels, and bundles of catnip so fragrant it seemed unreal. In that moment, every hardship faded. They had found more than treasure. They had proven their strength together. When the Whisker returned to the open sea, its hull carried gold and catnip, but its spirit carried something greater. Their laughter and songs echoed across the waves, and though the world would call them pirates and legends, what defined them was the unbreakable bond they forged. For Captain Paws and his crew, the sea was never just water and wind. It was a promise of whatever lay beyond the next horizon. Gunfight at the Calico Corral. The sun hung like a burning coin over the dust-choked streets of Calico, a town where silence meant tension and every shadow carried a secret. They called it the Calico Corral, a narrow stretch of hard-packed earth between leaning wooden buildings, where justice was quick and mercy even quicker to disappear. Sheriff Minnie stood at the center of it all, a calico with a steady gaze and a paw that never trembled, her hat tilted low against the glare, her holster worn from years of decisions that couldn't be undone. At her side were her deputies, Bun, sleek and precise, eyes sharp as broken glass, and Pippin, broad and unyielding, a wall of fur and muscle whose silence spoke louder than most threats. Together they had kept Calico standing, but today the wind carried something different, something dangerous, something final. The Pharaoh Cat gang had ridden in at dawn, four shadows with hunger in their eyes and poison in their pockets, pushing their trade of drugged cat treats into a town already balancing on the edge, their laughter cutting through the streets like a blade, daring anyone to stop them, daring Minnie to make her move. And she did. The ordinance was clear, but laws in Calico weren't just written, they were tested, and today they would be proven in gunfire. The street emptied as word spread, doors creaked shut, curtains twitched, and the town held its breath as Minnie and her deputies stepped into the open, facing the Pharaoh gang in a silence so heavy it felt like the world itself had paused to watch. Dust curled around their boots as the two sides locked eyes. A standoff measured not in seconds, but in heartbeats, each one louder than the last. No one spoke. There was no need. The tension snapped like a pulled wire, and in an instant, 20 seconds that would echo for generations, the Calico Corral exploded into chaos. Guns flashed like lightning, the air cracked with thunder, and the smell of powder burned through the heat as Minnie moved with deadly calm, her shots deliberate, unshaken, and in Calico, only the steady survived. Just Minnie and me. The coolest cat of them all. Minnie the Calico Cat didn't just think she was cool, she defined cool. In a sunlit living room somewhere in Southern California, she exuded glamour and became a neighborhood legend. Minnie stretched across a leather couch like she owned stock in the place. She probably did. Her calico coat shimmering like a designer jacket no human could afford. Cool cat? She purred, glancing at her reflection in the TV screen. Please, you want my autograph? She purred to herself. While other cats chased laser pointers like unpaid interns, Minnie operated on a different frequency. She didn't chase. She allowed things to come to her. The red dot? It respectfully stopped near her paw. The dog next door? Applied for visitation rights. Even the humans, her humans, walked around like assistants in a production she casually directed. One afternoon, a crisis hit. The treat jar was empty. Any ordinary feline would panic. Not Minnie. She rose slowly, flicked her tail like a jazz drummer hitting a rim shot, and sauntered into the kitchen. Timing, presence, mystery. She gave a single, perfectly measured meow, just enough to say, I could survive without treats. But why should I? Within seconds, the jar was refilled. Minnie smirked. Smooth operator, she whispered to no one in particular. As the sun dipped low, casting golden light across her domain, Minnie curled up again, the embodiment of chill, charisma, and effortless control. Legends weren't made, they were born, preferably with excellent fur patterns. Minnie didn't even look. She already knew. There was only one. Just Minnie and me. I, Minnie, the calico in charge of absolutely everything. From my perfectly chosen perch near the arm of the couch, I want to explain that the cat's meow is not some cute jazz-age phrase humans invented during their flapper parties and noisy dancing. but rather a long overdue acknowledgement of feline superiority. I will describe how every element of excellence, style, timing, presence, originates from cats like me, whether it's the elegance of entering a room as if I own it, the precision of demanding food exactly 1 second before I'm truly hungry, or the artistic brilliance of knocking an object off a table just to remind Tallene and Nick who's boss. Humans misunderstand the complexity of a meow, which is not just a sound but a unique language capable of expressing affection, command, disappointment, and mild threats all at once, making it far more than any slang phrase they've ever invented. I would like to gently mock my humans' attempt to capture my greatness, pointing out that while they came close, they still see the world from ground level, whereas I operate from a higher plane, both physically and intellectually. In the end, I coined the phrase "the cat's meow" only became popular because humans finally noticed what has always been obvious, that true excellence is effortless, slightly unpredictable, and undeniably feline. And as I finish my explanation, I demonstrate this truth the only way that matters, by slowly pushing something valuable off the table, because in my world, that quiet act of chaos isn't mischief, it's perfection. Watch while I paint a self-portrait of myself. The Perfect Pie, A Cat's Guide to Pizza. It begins, as all important culinary adventures do, with absolutely no intention of cooking and every intention of causing trouble. I am Minnie. I do not make pizza, I command it. First, I leap onto the counter with the elegance of a falling loaf of bread. The humans shout something about "get down," which I interpret as encouragement. The kitchen now recognizes my authority. Step 1. Ingredients. Flour is clearly snow for indoor hunting. I dip a paw into the bag and fling it dramatically into the air. A blizzard erupts. I sneeze. I look offended. This was not discussed. Water goes next. I gently, no, artistically, tip over the measuring cup. The counter floods. I step in it. Now I have wet paws. I leave tiny footprints across every available surface. This is called plating. Now we knead. I place both front paws into the sticky dough and begin the ancient feline ritual known as making biscuits. The dough resists. I press harder. I sit in it. Now I am part of the pizza. A jar of tomato sauce sits nearby, clearly waiting for me. I bat it once, twice. Off the counter it goes. Smash. A glorious explosion of red. The floor now resembles modern art. Toppings. Cheese is the star. I drag a block of mozzarella off the counter with great effort and even greater drama. This is the best day of my life. I scatter toppings with precision. 1 olive under the fridge, 3 on the floor, pepperoni distributed according to vibes. I sniff it. I do not eat it. I walk away. Because I am a cat. And the true joy was never the pizza. It was the chaos we created along the way.